Hello all, I'm Marin. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my November favorites. So let's go ahead and get into it. Per the usual with these videos, I am going to break my favorites down into 4 different categories and we will talk about each one. So I will be talking about my bookish favorites, my beauty favorites, my miscellaneous favorites, and then last month I added a new category of my cats favorites. So we will conclude with their favorite things from the past month. So without further ado, let's roll on into my bookish favorites for November. November was my best reading month in terms of quantity, as I read a total of 17 books, which is 3 more than I have read in 2 previous months. I did have 1 DNF, but it still worked out to an average rating of 3.9 stars because not only did I read the most books in November, I also had the most 5-star reads in November. So I'm going to go ahead and just talk about the books that I gave 5 stars. They're not going to be ranked in any kind of order or anything, but I will tell you which one was my absolute favorite when we get to that one. So I'm going to just go through in the order that I read them during the month. So I started off November with Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson, which I obviously gave 5 stars. This is written in a very tongue-in-cheek manner, and I just had a really good time with it. I'm looking forward to reading what he has written so far in the series, and I believe he's probably going to continue to write new ones. There's a new one that comes out, I think, right at the beginning of 2026. So I need to read book 2, and then there's like a Christmas novella, and then I will be ready for book 3 when that one is released. Next, I filmed my buzzword vlog for November, which I will link up above because both books in that vlog turned out to be 5 stars. So my next 5-star read of the month was Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and I would say that this is my favorite of all of the 5 stars I read. This was just cozy and gentle. It left me feeling very warm and kind of gooey inside. This is very low stakes fantasy. It was exactly what I wanted from it, and I'm looking forward to reading the other 2 books that he has written so far in this universe. But this one was perfection. It's my favorite book of the month. In that same vlog, I read I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. This is a translated book, I believe, from French. This one is not going to be for those of you who need conclusions or all of your questions answered, because that is not what happens in this book. We are following a group of women who are being held captive until one day they are randomly allowed, if you will, they are able, I should say, to escape the confines of where they have been being held. They find themselves on this abandoned planet, for lack of a better word. It's very isolated. They are the only human beings around, and our POV character is the youngest woman in their group, and it's basically just a coming of age story, and I really liked the way this was written. This is sci-fi slash dystopian slash literary fiction, and as you can see, I did tab several quotes that I really liked. I just really liked this one and would recommend. Then I had to wait until the very end of November for my next 5-star. These books were talked about in my most recent vlog, so I will link that up above. But the first one is I'm Still Here, Black Dignity in a World Made for Whiteness by Austin Channing Brown. This is a nonfiction memoir from Austin Channing Brown, who is basically detailing what it is like to be a Black woman in America, and particularly in the church space. So very interesting and insightful. Lots of quotes that I really liked. This is another one that I did tab and I would recommend. She does narrate the audiobook, so I did a tandem read, which I thought went really well. It was a nice way to kind of really take in the story. She has a lot to say, and obviously I really enjoyed her writing. I gave it 5 stars. And then the final book that I gave 5 stars in November is one that I do not physically own. It is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. I did check this one out from my library. This one is literary horror, I would say, and we are following 2 women, one of whom is a marine biologist who goes on a deep sea dive where something goes wrong. And when she does finally return to her wife, she is returned wrong, for lack of a better word. So again, this is one you're not going to get answers from, but I just really liked the way it was written. I really liked the way that the horror was kind of interspersed in there. I would say that this is body slash psychological horror, so keep that in mind, but I had a good time with it and would recommend. So that concludes my bookish favorites, so let's go ahead and roll on into my beauty favorites for November. I have 5 beauty favorites that can be divided into 2 categories. I have makeup type items and body care type items. So let's go ahead and start with the body care items first. The first one is a whole body deodorant from Secret. I do have it right here. It comes with an aerosol spray. I have tried whole body deodorants from a couple different brands. I also like the one from Lumi, but their packaging goes wrong like midway through the bottle, so I was never actually able to finish an entire bottle. I tried twice, but the spray nozzle starts leaking and it becomes unusable. Thankfully, I have not run into that problem with this one. I really like how easy this is to apply. You just spray it wherever you need to put it. The one thing I wish is that they had an unscented version, because this one is not unscented. This is almond milk and honey. I personally like the smell, but if you are sensitive to strong smells, it's probably not going to be for you, and this brand would not be for you, because as far as I'm aware, they don't have an unscented version, but I am really enjoying this, so wanted to give it a shout out. The next item I want to mention is a body wash that I no longer have because I did use it all the way up. It is the moisturizing body wash from Bath & Body Works in the scent Sweetest Song. It has notes of blush raspberries, sugar crystals, and whipped musk, and I just felt like it was a sweet, gentle scent. It wasn't super overpowering, and I personally really enjoyed it, so wanted to give that a shout out as well. And now we're gonna move on to some makeup items. 2 of these I'm not sure would be solely makeup. One is kind of a skincare makeup hybrid, I think, so I'll start with that one. That is this Cicapair Tiger Grass Camo Drops from Dr. Jart's. They come in a bottle like this. They have a dropper at the top. I have used the color correcting cream for several years now at this point, but I saw the drops and was very curious about them. I actually am wearing them today, and that is like my sole foundation. So you can add a little bit more to build up coverage, for lack of a better word. If you do have blemishes or things you're trying to cover, you'll want to go in with a concealer. I do have some concealer on my under eye area, but everything else is just this with some powder over the top. This is a very easy foundation step, like one and done, and it blends in well. I just use my fingertips, so I don't have to be super precise with it, and I do like the effect that it gives, and I will definitely be repurchasing this once it is done. I will say that it says to use 2 to 3 drops. I use however much comes out in the dropper when I squeeze it out, because for me, putting it all over my face, I do need more than just those 2 to 3 drops, but obviously your mileage may vary. Some people may only have to like spot correct certain places that are particularly red. My skin has been very red the last couple of months, so I just put it all over my entire face and it works really well. Again, that's what I'm wearing today as like a foundation, so would recommend, really do enjoy this, and it does work well with the cream as well, so you can combine them if you need to. The next one I think is also kind of skincare slash makeup, so we'll talk about it next. It is a lip oil, and it is from Bare Minerals. It comes in a package like this. This one is in the shade Delight. What I really like about it is that it is a very thin texture, so it's not gloopy, it doesn't get sticky. I would not say it lasts super long, but it gives a nice little flush of color to your lips, at least in this pink shade. They do have some other colors as well. I decided to go with just the lightest shade, and I've only been using it for a month and have made a decent amount of progress on it, so that in itself is kind of an endorsement, because I have a really hard time using up lip products, but this one is really nice. So if you're looking for a lip oil, this might be a good one to check out. And finally, I have a cream blush that I have really been enjoying for the last month. This is from Ilia. This is in the shade At Last, and it is their multi-stick, multi-usage, if that makes sense. So you are able to use it for lips and cheeks. I only use it on my cheeks because, again, lip products, I don't really wear a lot of those, but you can see right here, it just comes out in a twist form, and I'll go ahead and swatch it so that you can see the color. This is a nice pink shade. However, if you don't want it super heavy, you're going to want to be careful as you apply. It does blend out nicely. It is a little bit tacky if you don't set it down. So I put it on right after my foundation and then set the whole thing with powder, and it works really well. But it just gives a nice little flush of color, as you can see right here. It is what I'm wearing today, and I'm really, really liking it. It's pretty easy to apply, although again, you can be a little too heavy-handed, so you might have to go in and blend it out with like a beauty blender or something. All right, that concludes my beauty favorites, so let's go ahead now and roll on into my miscellaneous favorites for November. In November, I decided to get back into my rewatch of the original Dark Shadows, so I have worked my way up to episode 142. This is a very silly, campy, paranormal soap opera that ran from the 1960s, I think 1966, all the way through 1971, I believe. There are over 2,000 episodes of this, so I obviously still have quite a ways to go, but I decided to start at the very beginning and do a rewatch. I had seen the majority of the episodes that feature Barnabas. He is the vampire character, but I had not watched any of the episodes that happened before he appeared in the show, and the show actually ran for a couple of years before he shows up. So I wanted to go back and watch the whole thing, so I did start with episode 1. I've now worked my way up to 142, and I'm just having a good time. They are about 20-ish minutes each. You can find them on Amazon Prime. If you don't pay for like the no ad upgrade, you will have commercials that cut in. I went ahead and paid for the no ad upgrade, so I don't have to deal with that, but just know this is one of the shows that is available through Prime, but it does have ads. So keep that in mind. It's just a good time. I'm enjoying it. It's kind of funny to see like the bloopers and things that kind of pop into the episodes because these were filmed live, they were not gone back and edited or refilmed. Whatever the actors did is what went on the show. So you see goofy things like the microphone dipping into the shots or the camera kind of going haywire. You hear a lot of background noise of people dropping things. So it's just kind of a good time, and I'm enjoying getting the story before Barnabas's arrival. And then finally, the other thing that I wanted to mention is that I have discovered, probably the last couple of months or so, I found these 3 bass singers that do videos on YouTube. I think they're also kind of famous on TikTok. I know one of them is. I'm not on TikTok, but the 3 that I'm talking about are Jonathan Young, Bobby Bass, and Colin McGinnis. And the 3 of them have combined to do some collabs that I particularly like, and that's kind of what I wanted to shout out. So they have done 3 collaborations. 2 of them, I believe, are on Jonathan's channel, and the 3rd one is on Column's channel. I don't think Bobby has any on his specific channel. He also sings with a number of groups, so if you follow any bass singers on TikTok, he's probably the one that you're the most familiar with, but I really like the 3 together. So the 2 that are on Jonathan's channel are My Mother Told Me, which is a Viking song, and then Hoist the Colors, which is obviously from Pirates of the Caribbean. But the one that is my absolute favorite and the one that I've been listening to a little bit on repeat is the Song of Durin, which is on Column's channel. I will link all 3 of those songs down below if you want to go check them out, but I really, really like the Song of Durin. That's probably my favorite. It gets stuck in my head and will kind of be an earworm for me, but I really like it. If you're a fan of Lord of the Rings and you know enough about the lore and things, this song has a lot to do with some of that. So I really, really liked it. Would recommend. I've just had a good time listening to them. And obviously they also have songs that they're singing on their own that I also really like, but I definitely wanted to just shout out the collabs. I'm really hoping they'll do another one soon because they are my favorite. All right, that concludes my miscellaneous favorites. So now let's roll right on into the items that my cats have been loving for the last month. First one I want to mention is a food. Last month I mentioned that they were really liking the rabbit pate from I and Love and You. Now I have gotten them onto a pork pate. This one is from Dr. Elsie. It is their clean protein pork recipe pate. It comes in a can that looks like this, and it is one of the only pork wet foods that I can really find that's okay for all life stages. So this is an all life stages food. It's not just for kittens. So if you have adult cats, you can feed it to them as well. As I've mentioned previously, my cats are on an all wet food diet. So I'm trying to introduce different proteins and things that they might enjoy, and they are really, really liking the pork. So I'm really glad that there is a pork recipe for kittens and that it's fairly affordable. I can't find this in stores anywhere, so I do get it from Chewy. It's also available, I think, on Amazon. But yes, this has been their favorite food from the last month. Next, I want to talk about a brush that isn't really a brush, and that is the Equi Groomer. So it has these teeth that are kind of ridged, if you can see. This brush is particularly good for removing the dead hair in their undercoat. So I have been able to get quite a bit of hair off of my cats, particularly Sage. She is my black kitty. I'll put a picture right here of just one of the little clumps of hair that I was able to get off of her with like just a few passes of this brush. She loves being brushed and she really likes this brush. I'm trying to avoid hairballs because they are both very into grooming, particularly Clover. So yes, if you're looking for something to help remove undercoat, this is a good one. I have also seen from other reviews that it works really well on dogs as well, long-haired dogs and short-haired dogs. So just want to give it a shout out. I know that these come in like different sizes. This might not be the official Equi Groomer. This might be like a spin-off, but I got it off Amazon. It was 20 bucks, well worth the purchase because it definitely helps remove all of that dead hair that would otherwise get into their systems. And we're gonna end off with a toy that my cats really love. I initially only bought one of these because I wasn't thinking that they would be this big of a hit. They're these weird worm things that look like this. So they have eyes. At the bottom they have feathers and they have a jingle bell. And then they do have antenna as well. My cats love these. I don't know what the deal is, but they love these. So I had to go back and buy a second one because I needed one for each of them. Clover in particular loves anything with feathers. These have survived surprisingly well. Most of the other toys that I have with feathers, the feathers get completely destroyed, but these are still holding on. So I'm kind of impressed. They're obviously in there really well. I always give everything a nice pull to make sure it's not going to come off as soon as they put it in their mouths, but they really love this one. I'll insert some footage right here of Sage playing with the worm. It's her favorite. Clover likes it as well, but it's definitely Sage's favorite. So these are from PetSmart. They're just in like a little bin on an end cap, and I might have to go back and pick a couple more up before they stop stocking them because these are huge hits. So there you go. Those are my November favorites. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. If you made it to the end of this video and would like to leave an emoji to show you were here, you can leave a heart emoji of your choice, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.